This video is a sample from the Secret Guitar Teacher Interactive course, The 5 Main Elements of Music. The 5 main elements of music. Element number 2, scales. Section 2.5, learning the major scale. Part 4, the infinite virtual fretboard concept. In the last lesson, we established that the individual octave patterns of the caged system can be broken down into just 7 components. I referred to these as diagonals. We went on to show that these 7 diagonals could usefully be divided into just 2 basic types: forward diagonals and backward diagonals. Having got your sandwich drills up to speed for the major scale, you're nearly in a position to use this information to cover the whole fretboard with the notes from any one key. The first step of this process involves playing the 7 complete octaves available to us simply by following the caged system. Here's the demo for that process. First, here's a preview of the process. For more experienced students, this may be all you need, but a more detailed breakdown then follows. So first I found my key note, G in this case, at fret 3 on the 6th string. I then remind myself of where we are in the cage system. So I'm on the E string, the octave pattern comes from the E shape. This gives us 2 separate diagonals, a forward diagonal. If I've drilled my sandwich exercise enough, as soon as I do that, muscle memory should kick in. And I'm reminded of the pattern to use for that diagonal, likewise for the top diagonal, which is a backward diagonal, you'll see. So that gives us 2 complete octaves in that position. If I string them both together, just notice that I'm giving some rhythmic emphasis to those key notes. Then I look at how we connect to the next part of the cage system, and there's the D shape. Again, the sandwich exercise kicks in. Just 1 octave available in that position, so let's move on. Next position, the C shape. Then the A shape. And then we're back to the G shape, and here again we've got 2 octaves, so the first one's a backward one, and then I carry on into the forward one, So that covers the 7 complete octaves that form the cage system of octave patterns. But in each position there are also remnant notes that are available to us. In other words, notes from the scale that don't form a complete octave. To work out these notes, we can extend the patterns we drilled in the sandwich exercise using something I refer to as the infinite virtual fretboard concept. We have learnt these 4 forward diagonal patterns. But now I want you to imagine that your fretboard continues indefinitely, allowing the formation of further octave patterns, both on higher strings and on lower strings. Similarly with the backward diagonals. Have to be a bit careful here to factor in the effect of the tuning anomaly. Just remember that any diagonal that covers the gap between the second and third string is shortened by 1 fret. Now let's demo how we use this concept to find all the remnants of the major scale in each position. First, for the more experienced students, here's the preview. Now here's the detailed demonstration. So we find our keynote G and we're on string 6, the E string, so we're oriented to the E-shaped pattern of the cage system. So first we've got a forward diagonal. Our sandwich exercise should kick in and help us play that. Now, having played a forward diagonal for that complete octave, we know that the next diagonal will be a backward one. We've now completed a backward diagonal, so we're going to start a forward diagonal. So we've gone zig, zag, now we go zig. And we're going to head off into the virtual fretboard here. However, it's a short-lived journey. There's only 1 extra note there before we run out of position. When we get to the bottom end here, we're also going to head back down a backward diagonal pattern now, but again, very short-lived journey. There's only 1 extra note to reach from that position. We could find that note simply by remembering that there's a semitone between note 8 and note 7 in a major scale. So we've got the complete octave in a forward diagonal, a complete octave in the backward diagonal, and the beginnings of an octave in virtual space here. Back to our keynote, which remember we always emphasize. And then that 1 extra note at the end. Then we remind ourselves of our cage system again, link to the next shape, and then complete that complete octave, which is obviously a stretched forward diagonal. We've zigged this way, so now we're going to zag that way. A backward diagonal pattern. Get that far, and we've used up our position, so we go back again. Emphasize the key note on down. So we've zigged back that way. Now we're going to look to zag back that way into a backward diagonal. We don't quite make it back to the complete octave though, so we head on back to our key note. We always start and end on the key notes. Remind ourselves of the cage system pattern again. Takes us onto the C shape. There's our complete octave. Backward diagonal. Start a forward diagonal from there. That's as far as we get. Back to the key note on down the backward diagonal. Start a forward diagonal from the top down here. Whoa. But come back to the key note after we run out of position. Into the A shape. A forward diagonal complete. Starting a backward diagonal, we get that far, we have to come back again. Emphasize the key note. Now we start another forward diagonal going downwards. Sorry, that's a backward diagonal. Come back to the key note. Back to the cage system. We've got the G shape there. One complete octave in the backward diagonal. Complete octave in the forward diagonal. We've used up our position, so we come straight back down. Start down the forward diagonal. And we've got a little bit, whoops, a backward diagonal left there at the bottom end. If you enjoyed this video, please click the like button and subscribe to the channel. If you'd really like to maximize your potential as a guitar player, click on the link in the description below to the Secret Guitar Teacher site. Here you can sign up for a 30-day trial free of charge and without obligation. We won't even ask you for your credit card number.